We have no say in who gets selected, guys. This is done by a neutral party, so you don't have to worry about Rotti and I playing favorites. Let's see what we are working with. Round 1. Sturgeon is a Scorpion Destroyer Shocker. No Mortar there, by the way. On the other side, we've got... Wow, this is basically a mirror. Well, the tier 3 favors Alex a little, but up to that point, it's a bit of a mirror.
Yeah, tier 3 is definitely going to be kind of funky with those snipers available. He's got a bulwark in there as well. I don't think I've ever seen anyone really make one of those.
It was the only tier 3 I had for a while because I didn't have all the units in the beginning, and actually did win one game by just sacrificing a base, going 4 bases, and spamming a whole bunch of bulwarks. They were kind of good, actually. I mean, they may not be as good as Cat Boss because they're a lot slower, but they were surprisingly powerful in the fight.
Well, we have our first little Scorpion skirmish setting up. As you mentioned, it is very similar units to begin with here on the Scorpion side of things and the anti-air blinks. We're actually going to see both of them going into the air as well, which is going to be a mirror for now too. So, I mean, I guess when your decks are so similarly mirrored, and you kind of got to match the other guy. It's going to be very tough to just kind of take and expand and get away with that.
Absolutely, so we might even see some expand chicken being done as well, and then the secondary tech choice. The MMR, by the way, for both players is around 10,000, so we've got some high-ranked battle aces here. Today is going to be a bit of everything. It's less about the pros than it was yesterday, as we have a big Scorpion run by the way, by Alex, and I actually feel like this is going to deal some damage, man. And defending this with just Scorpions is hard, right? Because you mentioned this yesterday. Once the Scorpions are on top of your workers, it's so hard to take care of them if you only have melee to defend. So successful run by here by Alex.
Yeah, bunch of workers already going down is already a massive W, so that is a big plus. And let's just see those Scorpions will finally be cleaned up, yes, but a little bit of economy loss really does add up. We are on the other side, actually getting a few workers as well, but that's even more Scorpions going down. Both of them drop down that third base, ready for the next stage of this, and we do have air tech ready whenever one of these guys wants to start making it.
I feel like this is just airship battles now, no? Like, obviously making Falcons doesn't really seem to make any sense when your opponent has air available as well. So I think this is all about the eco right now, airship against airship, and then maybe some Scorpion run-bys to give you the economic advantage.
Lots of options as we see the Scorpions still poking at the front. The airships obviously looking to try and get involved. If you win that airship advantage and win that airship war, it's going to do so much for you, because I imagine if one guy gets like airships in his favor, then could maybe even add a couple of Falcons. Just going to have so much damage to the ground that can't really be dealt with. So I feel like we might be heading that way, as we do have still Scorpions all over the place as well. The ones on the left-hand side, fight happening in the center. Pretty hectic game.
Yep, I think I like it a little bit more for Alex. I think Alex has done economic damage when it matters the most, and I feel like he should be able to get a few more airships, and then you can just kind of push through the center, because airship Scorpion moves kind of in sync. They're both relatively fast units. I think I really like this for Alex. Maybe Sturgeon can get up to tier 3, and then I would absolutely favor him, but I think that's just too expensive right now to afford it. You will always lose the airship battle.
Yep, airships are something that you just got to keep on building, and pretty much that's where all the power is going to go right now. And if you can keep that airship count somewhat similar, we should have something of a fight here, as we are going to see airships diving on each other here. So the problem is, if you're being the aggressor, right, your opponent's reinforcements are going to come sooner, and the moment you have less, it's going to get very one-sided very quickly, as this is absolutely going better and better for Alex right now, as he continues to just power through, and he's going to win big time on the ground, which means he might even have enough to go across the map and make something happen on this third base.
I would not hate it. I think he's got the numbers, and I actually think we could take perhaps an early look at a 1-0 lead for the challenger today. I mean, are the community streamers, are the pros in trouble? Even though this is a good airship battle at first, Alex needs to make sure that those airships in the top right actually starts participating. Because the fight in the air, I would say, is a tiny bit more important than the one on the ground. But if you have a lot of Scorpions left over, you can obviously get on top of the workers. And even if you lost a couple of additional airships, I think you're gonna be okay if you can just get some worker damage. Maybe you can go for the main. Nope, doesn't want to go for the main. But the center, though, he has wiped out every single worker there. And he might actually get the base, Rotti.
Yeah, it looks as though it's going to be tough to keep that alive. I mean, some airships coming over to try and play the defense. We're actually going to give it up for the moment in terms of just not going for the kill, as we did kill a lot of workers anyway. Of course, right now the entire third base pretty much just not mining, and that should give you some time to mine a lot more and to maybe get back into that airship battle and just, you know, win that. And again, winning the airship battle should generally win you the war, as long as it's not kind of winning the airship battle on the most defensive position you can take.
I do really like how Alex has been looking for the Scorpion run-bys throughout the entire game. And I also feel like this is the kind of best of 7 that Sturgeon probably doesn't want to play throughout all of it. So I'm expecting deck changes next game. He did handle the airship battle on his side of the map a tiny bit better, because Alex had a couple of airships just shooting at Scorpions. But I still think Alex is far enough ahead that he can justify all of this. But this time around it's Sturgeon, who actually has a very good Scorpion run-by. He's going to get a bunch of workers, but the same thing will happen on the other side.
Yeah, workers are going to be in some trouble as the Scorpions get active and busy. Just going to have ourselves the... and again, just, I mean, so many workers have died this game. It's kind of tough to keep on top of how much mining each of these guys have actually had. Because it's definitely been less mining than you usually expect to have. Of course, here is the base though low from earlier, and now will go down, and that's a massive advantage to Alex, who is just going to be super far ahead from that.
Does Alex have to fear the tier 3 of Sturgeon? Sorry.
Yeah, well, actually, potentially, because the Valkyries are extremely good anti-air units, so they're going to lay... I don't know what a Valkyrie looks like against an airship is the only problem, because airships are also anti-air units, so... Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I guess he doesn't have to worry, because Sturgeon just can't afford to build any right now, so... I'm going to go ahead and say I think it's going to be alright. I just can't imagine the Valkyries are so good against airships that's going to, like, wipe the floor with all of them, so... Especially, like, the few that he can build, he's only built one so far, so... Yeah.
If Sturgeon was richer, maybe it would have a big impact. Right now, it shouldn't really have an impact. I think maybe he misclicked as well, because he accidentally has a Falcon in the middle. I mean, sure, great damage against the ground, but that's just not really what you're looking for right now. It is truly about the battle in the skies. Another massive Scorpion run-by, and again, on the top of all the workers in the main base. It's a final battle in the center. I have the feeling this one should always go Alex's way. And I think that means that we are looking at a 1-0 lead for the challenger. I don't think that Sturgeon can really turn this one around anymore. He's just too far behind economically.
Yep, I think we're pretty much going to be just done here. As he's going to lose that third base again, Sturgeon is just not going to be able to stay in this and keep up. And so our Scorps and our airships are going to do way too much, and that is 1-0, as you say, to the challenger.
Uh-oh. Is our squad in trouble already, Rotti? Because I feel an alliance over here, you know? I hope you know I'm going to be mega biased for you.
You're going to be mega biased for me? Okay. You're going to have to be, mate, otherwise there might not be much to say.
Yeah. I mean, these two guys run an incredibly similar deck, and I do have the feeling that Sturgeon has been experimenting a lot, has played a lot of different styles. I've seen him on stream as well. I cannot imagine him looking at this and be like, oh yeah, I want to do this for potentially 5, 6, 7 games in a row. Just playing pure Scorpion airship against each other. I don't know. I feel like there are many more fun ways to play, and if you have confidence in your skill, I think there are better ways to translate that skill as well.
Yep. No, that's a very good way of putting it, as we'll get ourselves ready for game number 2 here. See if there's going to be any deck changes heading into our second game of this best of 7. Again, big games coming up. I actually think we're going to see some longer games today. Not necessarily longer series, but like just individual games being longer, because yesterday was a bit more cutthroat. I think today is going to be a bit more kind of back and forth and dueling it out and a few comebacks and so on. Yep.
I think it's going to be all over the place as well. Somebody asking about the format. It's similar to yesterday. We are just playing best of 7. So it's a 1-0 lead right now for Alex, our red player in the top right. Sturgeon, he is the one representing us, the streamers, the community members in the bottom left. And he goes for one base, a Scorpion King Krabby potentially. But there are destroyers. I mean, if we just settle for killing the expand, that's something we've seen before. That's not too bad. If we try to straight up win the game, I think it's going to be bad for Sturgeon.
Yeah, I think that really comes down. What we saw yesterday, the trend was kill the base and get out. You can actually get a lead. If you try and actually win the game, head to the main, you're going to have a bad time. So that seems to be where the one base opener is going. And yeah, basically just looking to punish someone who instantly drops down that expansion every single game. As we now go for the air tech here from Alex. So he's going to go into the skies, which is going to be pretty powerful. But the problem is, I feel like Falcon's going to work great in, like, you know, good numbers against the kind of anti-air blink. The problem is getting good numbers when you're likely going to be losing your natural early could be very difficult to afford.
Yep. And it's also tricky because you want to build Falcons, because Falcons do way more damage than airships. But if you're building Falcons and your opponent expands and just goes airships, then your Falcons are not going to be very useful anymore. So incredibly curious to see how this one goes out. Scorpions keeping each other busy, but here come the King Krabbies from a Sturgeon, and he's just going to right click down this base. We have one Scorpion in the main of Alex. It's not going to do a whole lot. For the people who are wondering what about deck changes, everyone is allowed to change their deck every single game. King Krabs are going to get on top of this base. That base is going to die very quickly. The air tech is just not ready in time. And what will Sturgeon do now? He expands. And I kind of think he's going to go air himself, but he's still in the main. And now you're actually kind of forced to build Falcons. I don't think he really wants to build Falcons, but he's forced to do it.
Yeah, I think he actually wanted to spend his money right now on re-expanding, right? But now you build the Falcons, and now you have to focus on getting across the map, and it's definitely going to slow down that expansion. I mean, he does not have any power. He's got 100 power. He's just going to go for it. He builds another Falcon, so he's just going to full send and believe that he can maybe just overpower with that sky power.
That's actually kind of cute. I like the idea of just staying on one base right now, saying like, I am too far behind to expand, and we full send it. I mean, sure, these things are slow, but eventually they're going to make their way to the other side of the map. I would not waste any time chasing these Scorpions around. Let your reinforcements deal with that, right? He just needs to get on top of the main, and Sturgeon now realizes like, uh-oh, this is actually going to become scary. He might have to do like maybe one king Krabby, one shocker, and then nothing but anti-air guys. But if he goes pure anti-air guys, they're gonna get absolutely blasted by the Scorpions on the ground.
He's got no money. He just doesn't have money for it, man. It's just such a weak economy, and to afford what you kind of need to afford here. And these 3 Scorpions are already going to be putting in the work. So many Scorpions across the map are doing damage, but I just do not see these Falcons dying. They are just so good right now, and probably unkillable. By the time Sturgeon gets his air tech online, he's just not going to have money left. This entire base is going to be absolutely gone.
This is a great call by Alex, an absolutely fantastic call, just to go ham on the Falcons, not 1 or 2 Falcons, and then go airships and try to expand. No, just spend every single penny you have on Falcons and fly them to the other side of the map. They may be slow, but eventually they're going to be exactly where you want them to be. And I believe this is a fight that he will win. He's kind of just ignoring the Blink anti-air guys as well, and he's going for the core immediately. GG. 2-0 for the challenger. Alex came to play.
That's our first death by core kill as well.
Say again, sorry?
First time we've seen someone win by killing like the core straight up.
Yeah.
In these matches.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. I was like, man, we've seen so many games, and yeah, I played a couple games myself, and it absolutely did come down to that, because I'm a bit of a base trader, Wadi. If I feel like I can't fight the army, I'm just sending it. But yeah, you're spot on. That is our first official core kill. 2-0 for the challenger. Do we have a name for us, by the way? Like, what are we? We're not just streamers. We're not just casters. What are we? We're definitely not pros.
Yeah, they're not quite pros. The community, I have no idea.
Are we just the content creators? Are we that lame?
By the content, yeah.
Oh, alright, well, I guess that's what we are. Maybe we can find a better name for us. 2-0 for Alex, as he had an MMR deficit coming into this match. But yeah, he's showing us great understanding so far. Sturgeon obviously completely switched it up. He went for the 1 base. But yeah, great answer. Absolutely love the call to just stay on 1 base. Spend all your money on Falcons. And yeah, they are slow, Wadi, but they'll get right where they need to be. Because it takes a little while for a 1 base player like Sturgeon. You spend money on an expand, but you only get money out of that. Like after all this work is finally spun, takes a little while. And if you then also have to tack up to airships, yeah, but at that point, the Falcons will be right where they want to be. I really love that. We haven't seen that yesterday, but I think this was a very smart answer to that 1 base play.
Yep. No, it was very cool. Like I said, it was just right. We've already talked a lot about getting kind of answers to Falcons up and how the tier 1 anti-air doesn't always do it. Well, now we're going to see what happens as we go into Game 3, because Sturgeon, his plans are just not kind of coming off, as we're going to play a little bit of chicken, apparently, in terms of what we do early. No one expanding, no one tagging.
Alright, there are the expands. I kind of feel that you can always, with these scenarios, I do kind of feel like you can always expand. Especially because Tvoppa doesn't have a fast unit like a King Crab. Like, what are you going to do? A 1 base shocker all in? I wouldn't be worried about that.
Yeah, with you.
2-0 for Alex in the top right. Obviously, the beta will end Sunday night, right? Or is it Monday morning for us, Wadi? I'm going to miss it, man.
I don't know the time. I don't know the time, but yeah, I'm going to miss it too. And it's been fun to just, the best thing about playing this is like you can really just pick it up for like half an hour, play a whole bunch of games and be very happy and just be like, okay, I'm going to go do my other thing now, right? Like, you try and play StarCraft 2 for half an hour, you play 1 game, it's like a miserable experience, your mechanics aren't quite there yet. It's you really need to sit down and grind SC2 or something, but like this game I can pick up and put down a lot more easily.
I am incredibly familiar with that, mate. It takes me an hour to play my first decent game, but yeah, I've had a lot of moments where I know family is coming in like 20 minutes. It's like, oh, I can do like 3 games in 20 minutes. Send it. All right, so we have very different approaches here. It's 3 bases for Sturgeon, the man who's down 0-2 in this $200 best of 7, as Alex is going to go for 2 base Shocker Destroyer. I actually do think this is going to be very difficult for Sturgeon. He's going to have to somehow buy time, right, with run-bys. But his natural, he thinks he should be the aggressor here. His natural was wide open, Rotti. Alex with another little Scorpion run-by. These Scorpion run-bys have been deadly.
So good, just split 6 of them off, get them across the map without being seen, and they can get so much done. You can get so much value from this. As we do have the Scorp setting up on the right-hand side. We'll see if we can win a fight here. I actually do not mind the commitment from Sturgeon on those units on the third. He's going to lose the fight on the right side eventually, but Scorpion fights obviously pretty slow, right? They're not like, volatile or deadly. So they're a little bit slow going. You've got time to kind of reconsider, back away, and then go again. Shockers are out. I mean, fights right now feel as though they should be incredible on the side of Alex.
Yep, and I love as well leaving one shocker at home. He's going to send the other shockers, but they are a bit exposed. Maybe the Scorpions could have gone for it there. Don't know how that would have gone. But obviously, Sturgeon needs something. It's so painful that he's the one who lost workers. He's now spending all his money on shockers. They were misrallied for a split second. I mean, maybe he's incredibly good in shocker wars. He can absolutely still turn this into something. And he's keeping the base alive. I would say that's the most important thing. 87 supply against 87 supply. Shocker wars, Rotti. All out shocker wars.
All out shocker wars. I'm worried about the shockers on the left side. That they're not going to have enough protection to really keep them safe. I mean, a few shots from your opponent's shockers, and it can all go wrong. Interesting now we see a couple of destroyers added in as well, just in case maybe there's some king crabs coming up, because I don't actually think the destroyers do that good against the shockers themselves.
No, they have to get very close, right? And it's a lot about the Scorpions as well. I think Destroy is amazing against king crabs, very good against Crusaders. I think a little bit less impactful in the shocker wars.
We see the shockers still approaching here in this third base. Might be in some trouble. We do see Scorpions trying to run by on the bottom side of the map. So that is happening while the shockers get back at it. But it actually is Alex who's kind of taking a lot of shots on his shockers.
Yeah.
Still trying to pull back here. The Scorpions got all the way into the main base. I mean, going to get some workers and it's going to deny reinforcements for a little bit. So that is huge.
Oh.
But we're starting to kind of still hold our third.
Kind of wish that we could just see the shocker count right now, because I feel like that's the most important thing. Some good hits there by Alex. It did look like Sturgeon was getting the best of Alex there for a little while in these shocker wars. As now it just really comes down to micro, right? Who takes the better fight? The numbers are even, the armies are even, the workers, the units that we work with are even. I love splitting off one shocker and completely obliterating the worker line.
Yeah, that was such a good move.
It's happening on the other side as well, Rotti.
Yeah, everyone's realizing the power of the shocker run by. Look at him go. So that's going to be a mineral line for a mineral line. Maybe this one doesn't quite get the full mineral line, but still pretty darn good. I mean, 3/4 of it. You take those, and the third base here is barely mining as well, so just across the board, we are still mining more as Alex. 2-0 in this series, and honestly feels good at the moment in this game as well.
Yep, it feels that if Sturgeon could get heavy ballistas, he's absolutely cooking. But he's probably afraid that A, he might lose shocker wars, and B, he might actually lose the snipers later on. As I don't know if I like this fight. I mean, Alex is winning at the top, Sturgeon is winning at the bottom. In the end, it's a whole bunch of shockers and a couple of destroyers remaining. Looks very promising for Alex, the challenger who already has the 2-0 lead, as he just took a fantastic fight there. He won very, very decisively at the top of that circle in the center of the map. Lost a little bit out on the bottom. But it's okay. That was a big win. That was perhaps the biggest win of the game so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Now can take position and keep on pushing. I think we can just kind of keep on pushing in here. We have so many more shockers. The concave doesn't matter. We actually dive up top and just get rid of some of the units up there. And we actually make this work out on Sturgeon's side. I do not think so. I think Alex has just got too many shockers. At this point, you're never going to play catch-up, right? And I think this is just good control, but also just good harassment. Constantly seeing some workers going down on that other side and just constantly Alex mining more and more throughout the course of the entire game. And now as shockers spawn, they're just kind of getting picked off one at a time. It's a 3-0 lead.
A shocking victory. I stole that from Twitch chat. Yeah, I know, that's terrible.
I was like, I didn't realize they asked Fear Dragon to cast this one with me.
No, that was Twitch chat, but I liked it. Alex is playing incredibly well. I really thought Sturgeon had it. I thought he turned it around. I felt that he had his shockers in the right spot when he was like right in range of the third base of Alex. Economies were relatively even at that point. I thought it was his game. I thought at this point we'll just keep on pushing. We'll force our opponent to run into us. We'll get the better shots off, but somehow Alex kept it together defensively, always sharking around, looking for those Scorpion run-bys. And honestly, I'm very surprised, man, because I've been watching Sturgeon stream, and he looks damn good. He's over 10,000 MMR. But these challenges, Rotti, are nothing to scoff at, apparently.
I'm scared, man. Is this what we're going to have to play against all day?
Man. I don't want to get 0-4. No. Can I at least get a map or two?
I'd be happy to win a fight at this point, man. Like...
Please let me expand in peace, and then I'm happy.
Yeah, if I can survive 2 minutes in the game, I'm good.
3-0 for Alex in the top right side. And once more, we're playing a little bit of tech expand chicken. Can Sturgeon turn it around? $150 on the line for the winner of this best of 7. The loser gets a 50. Hey, okay, we expanded proper late there, right? Even though it was like a couple seconds quick there.
Yeah, I mean, they were just waiting and finally we gave in, so... It's kind of like... The thing is, if you wait and then expand, surely that's absolutely no different to just instantly expanding. You know? Like, this is such a weird concept, because if you're both waiting, I don't know, like, if you're gonna expand, I feel like you should just expand.
Yeah, but I think they're worried about the one base all in, right? And like maybe if the opponent would go one base, they want to go defensive one base.
Yeah, but like, is it not just? I guess it would still be later, so you have more money banked up once your tech does come online. So,
and maybe as well, it would make sense if you feel like you're the favorite, that you just want to do the same thing as your opponent. Like if you feel that you are the superior player and you just want to make sure you don't really lose on strategy and it all comes down to execution, that you try to mirror what your opponent does. But if you both think you're the favorite, yeah, then it's awkward, right?
Yeah, no, it's some very good points to think about. I mean, we are still toying with the first ideas of like competitive play in this game, right? So. Yeah. So many things to kind of look at, and we're going to go back to game 1 here in terms of just airships, most likely versus airships, and seeing who can airship better than the other guy.
Yep, and obviously Sturgeon needs to make sure that he's got some vision right above his natural, because it's been the Scorpion run-bys that really has made all the difference in this best of 7. He's now looking with his entire army. I don't think that's quite necessary. Look at that man. That man has been hurt by Scorpion run-bys. He's sending 20 Scorpions to the top left. Needs to be very careful because he's not winning that fight in the center, but he should win that fight against the run-by. I actually kind of like what Alex has done here. He's already snuck in just a couple of Blink Hunters to get a little bit of that range damage going.
Yeah, that's really nice, and the run-by is actually going to end up on some workers, which again just keeps a whole lot of units over there. I love the few Blink Hunters. They're able to just put some extra shots out, and that goes such a long way, as you just see the additional Blink Hunters arriving here. The first airships showing up. Obviously, as you build Blink Hunters, you're not going to afford airships yourself, but you will have an answer to airships, because airships are not really good air to ground. This is maybe where you actually want to build some Falcons on the side of Sturgeon, but that's scary. He's actually going into Valkyrie, so he's going for his tier 3 tech already. Yeah. So if he survives this, he will be in a very good spot, but does he survive this?
He's going to need mass Scorpions for a while, right? I mean, if your opponent is spending a lot of their money on the Blink Hunters, then maybe you can just kind of overcome their Scorpion numbers, and that is what we are starting to look at. That went well for Sturgeon. I was worried for him there. Just kind of felt that the Blink Hunters would contribute a little bit more to the battle than the airships. And we do have our first few Falcons, by the way. The man who's down 0-3 is fighting back, and he's looking good as he's got 3 base against 3 base, and he's got tier 3 Starforge.
My question is just, are the Valkyries that worthwhile versus just airships? We're going to find out as we're going to come forwards here. A lot of blinkers in the back doing a lot of damage. The airships are going to dive forwards, and they are just going to get rid of those first few Valkyries. So they go down, and suddenly the Scorpions are just getting chased. There's not a lot of Scorpions left for Alex, but he completely dominates this fight otherwise, and he's looking absolutely gold. He's going to chase this down, and I'm not sure these new Valkyries are going to get to survive either. They are going to get blasted.
Yeah, maybe the Falcons were too expensive to justify because they just melted against all these airships. I mean, Alex was just saving, right? Alex was waiting. He made a couple Blink Hunters, and he said, I'm waiting, and I'm waiting until you build the wrong units, and I'm going to punish you for it. And now it's once more an all-out airship battle. It's airships against Valkyries. Valkyries are good, but are they good enough to really hold the line here? Scorpion's doing very well here for Sturgeon, by the way, but I feel like that's just a matter of time. Eventually, it really is all about air numbers. Yeah, what do you do now? Like, do you go back into Falcons? Do you think Falcons show up in time? Nope, he's just going for more Valkyries.
I guess you go more Valkyries and just hope they can hold their own. I'm just worried about how much anti-air blinks there are, right? It just doesn't feel like there's enough Valkyries to truly fight those, and you can just blink underneath them. So this is going to be Alex just continuing to come through, and how about that for an absolute display here in our opening series? Our challenger is going to look good, and he's got so much money banked up as well right now. He could build so much more. Maybe just trying to check what his opponent is still building before he truly adds all of his money into the build he is going to build around the units now. Killed the third base, still blinking on top of units, and Sturgeon, unfortunately, is just going to fall 0-4. It's not a good day to be a content creator, Rotti. Hey.
Maybe the caster aces are already in some serious trouble here. Congrats to Alex for winning $150. 4-0. An absolute clinic. Just looked very good, looked smart, had an answer for everything. 1 point was a 1 base player, but even the 1 base Falcon managed to get the job done. Alex was amazing. Alex was absolutely amazing.